People often come to me and they ask me if I have any success stories about kids that have gone through an ECA-based program. And my God, do I have a lot of success stories. My favorite one is probably a moment where a kid that was training in my first Fortnite course came in, and his mom had told me about all sorts of behavioral difficulties that he had. And after, I believe it was the fourth practice, we'd been working a lot with this kid on having him understand that the perception of him while he's playing video games really impacts the way his parents feel about him gaming and how much they're willing to allow him game. This was the type of kid that would, curse a lot, that would argue with his teammates, that would yell, that would throw things. And he really quickly took that home and started working on that aspect of his behavior. Then before practice number 5, I receive a call from his mom, and she calls me up and she says, "What have you done to my kid?" And I remember my heart sank, and I was 100% convinced that, in my inexperience, I'd ruined someone's kid, right? I'd made a mistake and it was all over. And I asked her, "What do you mean?" And she told me, "He's just unrecognizable." And I asked her, "What do you mean? Had I done something bad?" And then she told me the story that day he came back from school, and instead of going directly into the living room, turning on the TV, basically taking over the living room and gaming for the next few hours, he walked up to his mom and he said, "Mom, can I go onto the computer?" And she was shocked. He never asked permission. She said yes. Then he went on to the computer, he turned on the TV, turned on the computer, and he started doing physical warm-up. He started doing jumping jacks, he started doing frog jumps, he started doing stretches. And she stood there with her mouth wide open going, "What is going on?" Then he got his friends online. He took some time before the match to lay out a strategy. And in game, he was all of a sudden, in the role of a leader. He was the one that was calming down arguments and telling people to focus instead of being the instigator like he had been. At the end of the game, they lost. And instead of throwing a tantrum and throwing his controller either at his mom or out the window, he simply stood up. He told his friends, "All right, guys, let's take a quick break. When I come back, let's talk about what went good, what went bad, and what we can do better next time." As he walked into the kitchen, got a big glass of water, and walked back to the couch, he looked his mom dead in the eye and he said, "Mom, Coach Ollie says that if I drink enough water and stay hydrated, I play better." And it was for me at that moment that I realized how much life-changing power there lies in being a coach in a hobby or a pursuit that really matters for the kid that is working hard to get better at that. And that's true in esports as it is in traditional sports. This kid ended up sticking in esports. He went off of a few of his behavioral difficulty meds. He gained more friends. He gained better grades. And of course, improved significantly in his game of choice to the point where he is now actively competing within the local scene in Iceland and having formed a really nice life for himself through the organized practice of esports.